doing? So I found this amazing website, and well, it's not. I just found it, but it's a famous, very culturally significant museum and research center called the Getty and the Getty Center. And basically, they have put up over 86,000 images of basically culturally significant artworks, and they've offered it for free. And on top of that, they are also under the 4.0 Creative Commons license, which means that you can use them, reproduce them, share them commercially. And as you might imagine, the images are very high quality. But also, as part of this project, what I'm doing right now is a project that I've been working on for a little while now, is using up all of the ink in this ballpoint pen here. This is this refill. This is the SCHMIDT Easyflow 9000M, the SCHMIDT Easyflow 9000M refill for the rOtring 600. So this is rOtring 600, which is basically a very nice container for ink refills, and hopefully eventually I get through this. So I've been drawing for about 40 hours now, almost 40 hours with just this pen. So I try to find something different to do every time. And right now, I'm going to go ahead and just go with this and see what kind of drawings I can come up with. Basically copying some of the stuff that's on here already. So I like to not have to think. What's up, Infinity? How you doing? What a fantastic name, Infinity and Beyond. The fact that you were able to secure that is pretty awesome. So we're gonna full screen this drawing here. It's like some type of angel thing. So let's just sketch through this, and actually maybe we'll make it smaller here. Bring this up. Let's just start a couple drawings here. How are you doing? What brings you here? You saw somebody who was drawing, or were you interested in the Getty Center website? And this is actually a pretty faded drawing, but I'm just going to go ahead and just sketch various body parts and like how they designed these body parts here. This is, I'm copying a drawing from like 1500s. What's interesting is that nude drawings or artwork back in the day used to be so controversial because it was like their only source of material as far as nudity is concerned, other than people themselves being naked. But this idea that nudity was so controversial back in the day is just pretty interesting, don't you think? What are some of your thoughts around nudity in art? Is the world overly censored, or is it just right, or does nudity have no place in art? What do you think? Feel free to share your opinions here. This is my rooms. My lives are always open conversations. I know people usually just like to kind of observe sometimes. I think with game streaming being so popular, gamers streaming, it's interesting because gamers rarely ever pay attention to the room because, of course, then they wouldn't be able to pay attention to their art or their streaming. But I think artists have an amazing opportunity to be able to pay attention to what's going on in their live streams. So let's go like this, and then a nice calf here. So the calf does come out almost all to the side of the leg here. And you know what? We might get a disproportionate figure, but that's okay. I really wanted to work with mostly pen drawings because it's interesting when you try to draw a pencil with pen, you really gotta work on certain features. that that are hard to find with pencil, because pencil you can really go into everything and focus on values and the form of things. But if you're using a pen with a pencil drawing, um, you really can miss a lot of things. So there's this website called the Getty Center, or there's this website called Getty.edu. It's by the Getty Center. So right now I'm just sketching out a leg. This is just a leg. I just wanted to draw this leg on this art piece. Let me get info. So this is right now I'm copying a leg. This is a satyr playing an aulos. So Bernardo Parentino. He's an Italian artist from 1437 to 1531, and he drew it with a quill pen. So right now I'm just sketching out the way he did the legs. I'm not going to draw the whole body, but I really just wanted to capture this idea of how different artists capture different body parts. And I might do a little bit of finer detail as far as overall shading is concerned, but for now just go ahead and sketching out this leg here. By the way, this website is absolutely fantastic. So this is the Getty website, and if you're an art business person, I don't know if the general population knows this, like, a lot, everybody knows this or whatever, but there's a license called the Creative Commons license 4.0. And basically what it means is that you can take artworks and you can basically copy them, distribute them, and use them for your own purposes and sell them. Now, I don't do that personally, but if you're an art business person and you're looking for works and you just need some artwork and you just want to sell, famous art pieces, not necessarily as your own, but like, just to do, then you can do that with this website. You just go to Getty.edu and you look up their images for art, and you go to like open content, and I just made a short video about that. So you can visit that short page and just see. But right now, let's see. I'm going to zoom in a bit more on how they do their sketching. These are really just studies, but I talk the whole time pretty much. Yeah, I pretty much just talk the whole time. So if you want to chat with somebody on art and like art ideas and things like that, I'm happy to. Sometimes I talk about like, my motivations and the overall art topics like fear and things like that. But for the most part, I just pick whatever comes to mind as the topic of the moment, and I talk through my artwork. Yes, yes. It can be hard to do though. If you've ever tried talking while focusing, it's not easy. But I do it because I know I usually get reported on social media if I just show my artwork. I'll get reported because they're saying social media, like if I live stream on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or whatever, I usually get reported when I don't talk because they think it's like a loop or something. So now I just have to talk all the time, just whatever comes to my head. I don't know if any of you have ever actually tried streaming, but it is quite a skill to just be able to go on and on and on and on just about whatever and like make it actually meaningful. I don't think most people do make it meaningful, especially not myself, but um even Bob Ross, he did a 1 hour show, I think. I was watching a great movie yesterday. Owen Wilson's in it. I highly recommend it. It's very funny. And you could tell it's based on a Bob Ross like character, but it's called Painter. And Owen Wilson basically plays a guy with an afro, an afro, much like Bob Ross, and he plays this artist who basically does live artwork on TV. And that is his character. Basically, anybody that knows Bob Ross knows that it was inspired by Bob Ross. But it takes like a funny approach to Bob Ross's character, because it's like, someone had to watch the movie. Someone had to watch the movie and ask themselves, huh, I wonder what it's like to hit on Bob Ross and try to have sex with him. Like, if you're, as a woman, right? Like, there's it's all these females that are obsessed and in love with this Bob Ross character, and it shows like that relationship of what was it like to try and make a move on Bob Ross as a woman, and it's funny. I don't know if it's accurate, right? I don't know how the Bob Ross estate feels about the movie, but it is a funny movie. It's worth a quick little watch if you're into the arts. If you like Bob Ross, it's not meant to be an Oscar winner or contender or anything like that. But it's if you like fun movies, and you've watched all the Marvels already, and you've done all that and whatever, then this is a good option for you. So I'm gonna add some highlights around the knees here, and then because that's what I'm seeing in this figure. So something else I like to talk about right now. Hey, Lotta Art, welcome. How are you? Good to see you. I was just sharing how there's a great movie out for artists, or just people that enjoy art or like Bob Ross. That there's a movie called Painter, and it's with Owen Wilson, awesome actor, right? And it's a pretty funny movie too. It kind of takes a comedic take on what it was like, what Bob Ross was like. But again, it's fictionalized. It's a fictionalized version of the man. May he rest in peace, Bob Ross, who inspired so many Americans to pick up a brush and paint or draw. So here I am. I'm sketching through this drawing by just the leg part. I'm not going to sketch everything, but this is a leg by Bernardo Parentino. So let's see what it says about Bernardo Parentino. I want to learn about these artists. Bernardo Parentino, an Italian artist. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right with my poor Italian accent, but I guess I copy this. Let's see what it says. What can we learn about Bernardo Parentino? So Bernardo Parentino was an Italian artist, Renaissance painter, born in Venice. Wow, he made Adoration of the Magi. I feel like that's a name that's been made for multiple paintings. And he made some really wild paintings featuring like animals and crazy. Wow, he's pretty cool. Makes some really interesting artwork. Let's see. Still confused and superimposed by another person, Augustine monk named Fra Lorenzo. Painted Temptation of St. Anthony Abbot. Some interesting works. He doesn't have too many, but very interesting artist. So right now I'm just sketching out his leg here just as a study. So Lara, what brings you here? You're an artist. It says Lara Art. And obviously you're here to connect with the art community. Or an art community. I'm not the art community, but I found it interesting the other day. I was drawing, and I had a few people in the lab at the same time, and it was really nice to be able to see how communities can grow through Instagram. I mean, through YouTube. I'm streaming on YouTube right now, but yeah, how communities can grow through streaming. It's great to witness, to be seeing as it happens live, coming to you live from Los Angeles, California. Emmett Ferguson from Los Angeles, California. What I thought was really interesting about the movie, though, let's get back to the movie called Painter, about the life of Bob Ross, was this idea of, it makes me wonder, like, how much of Bob Ross was scripted. So, like, the movie depicted Bob Ross as this person depicted a Carl Nargle is the name of the character in the movie, as just this person that just come up with these, like, beautiful phrases. And I guess the way he spoke, his tone of voice, his softness in voice, and I guess I should probably slow down the way I talk and not just go on and on at my normally fast pace, but really slow it down so people can follow. I do find that very difficult because your voice and your ideas and your thoughts can change from moment to moment when you speak far too slowly. But I really think right now as I'm doing it, finding a slower, calmer voice can really help people to enjoy what you're doing. So, as I was saying about this movie, it was such a great take on what it was probably like to work with Bob Ross for the many, many years that he did a show on public television, and he probably influenced so many people. But here's the thing is Bob Ross definitely influenced a lot of artists in America, but it does make me wonder whether Bob Ross had an influence in other countries. Did people in Russia, France, Canada, Mexico, did young artists in those countries also watch Bob Ross? I don't know. The world may never know, but I'm sure if you ask around, you'll find out. Wisdom for the day, ask around and find out. So, let's continue sketching out this leg. It was originally a quill pen or reed pen foot or leg drawn by Bernardo Barentino. It would be nice to study an Italian accent, wouldn't it? Just to have that musical rhythm, that that sound that's just so pleasant when you say it. It's just so fun. Bernardo. And it makes me wonder right now, how did I ever even learn what an Italian accent might sound like? Because I know very few people in real life that actually have an Italian accent. So I must have picked it up from a movie or a TV show. And that was an interesting I learned about Australian and British people who watch American TV. Is I asked a handful of them this question. I asked, when you meet Americans, is it the same thing as it is when Americans meet people with British or Australian accents? And they said, no. They said, not really. They like the accents, but because so much television and movies are made with American accents that it just did not seem that new to them. So that was an interesting thing for me to hear because in America, when you hear an accent from somebody, you are absolutely blown away for the most part. Americans love other non-American accents, and I think it is a beautiful, beautiful thing to hear a variety of accents. Okay, so I want to make a couple other marks here. Let's. Oh wow, this character has a lion thing draped over it. Maybe I should continue on with this figure, at least the bottom part of the leg here. So let's go right around this hip area and bring it down. Let's bring this hip and another leg length down here. We're just going to bring this down to right above the knee. So right above the knee, we're going to go right here. And, oh, a bit too. Ink is almost running out again, so as part of this project here, I am going until I run out of ink on this pen. And let's see what this other side of the leg brings, and I'll go ahead and share for now. This is just two legs. And let's see, this will end right around the calf area here. I should do like more sweeping motions, you know, just to, this calf needs to be drawn a little tighter. There we go. And then draw this foot right here, draw it down. Draw this ankle and foot. And here we go. I love seeing how classical artists from like back in the day, hundreds, thousands, hundreds of years ago, not thousands, hundreds of years ago, drew the human body. Because you got to think, like, back in the day, they had to really, really, like, really study. Not only did they have to have the time for it, you know, they had to, like, be born into, like, some artist family. But they had to really, really study the body to learn it. It wasn't just something that you could just pick up really easily because, uh, you know, you had to go out and just watch people. You didn't have internet photos and things like that. You know what I'm learning more and more about drawing with pens is this idea that you can make a straight line. You take a straight line, and make it angular. I mean, a straight angular line and make it round. So I think I made this foot a little too big. So we're going to bring that. Yeah, here we go. This is what I needed to do. And here's another foot coming up. And another foot coming down. And another foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you can't really tell the fifth one, so that's okay. We're going to bring this up right around here. So here we go as we continue our art exercises. What I'm really looking to learn here is some of the forms of the feet and how classical artists drew feet. I'm sure there must have been a school back then or something. And let's see, draw some lines across, a lot of straight lines. And here we go. So shade the bottom of the heel, of course. And then let's go with a pen here and continue. So the only reason why I use a ballpoint pen, no specific reason other than the fact that, I mean, actually, you know what? I do love the feeling of a pen to draw. I just love the feeling of drawing with a pen. Compared to a pencil, at least. Because I can't stand that sound of a pencil. The sound of that scratchy sound and feeling of a pencil just does not sit right for me. I don't know if it's the same for anybody else. But yeah, so it's just very nice to be able to feel the ink roll off or just come off a good pen. It's a nice feeling. And let's go ahead and sketch this up and bring this up and let's see what we can discover. Constant discovery in artwork. And I think I need to make constantly learning something new, something different, a better way to do something, a unique way to do something, the best way to do something. Is there a best way? So here we go. The pen, someone once said, the pen is mightier than the sword. Is that so? What do you think, YouTube? Is the pen mightier than the sword? So I believe I'm almost out of ink just as I'm starting to finish this project. As I finish up this leg. Hopefully it lasts me through the end of this leg. And I gotta draw with a bit more curvature here. So I'm drawing this leg and it feels a bit flat, but I think what I need to do, all I need to do to create the form a little better is to draw hash marks on the inside here to give it a little bit more density as we move around this form of the leg. That's the one thing about drawing with pen is you really got to know how to create shape with just hash marks, just lines, or volume. And here we go. So there's a little visual of what's being drawn here. And continue on with the leg and the feet. And let's see. Morning.
Morning. A little more sleep.
You're what?
Got a little more sleep.
Good. But the question is, did you get enough sleep? What's going on with Fern? Fern, what are you doing?
Should have gone to sleep earlier.
What'd you knock down? Oh my goodness, I think I might almost be out of ink. Is it what?
Is it gonna be warm today?
I don't know. Ask Alexa. Alexa, what's today's temperature?
Right now, it's 63 degrees Fahrenheit. Today, expect a high of 80 degrees.
Wow. It is good.
80 degrees.
Let's go to the beach on Sunday.
Okay.
Sell your painting.
Yes, that's
Leave the
what I'm,
little ones and sell them for like $50.
I will do that. All right, using pen, going through some of the areas here and fixing them up. And let's go on to our next drawing here. I'm done with this leg, and we're gonna go on to a different drawing. Let's go back and let's do Young Woman Assisted by a Gentleman by Joaquin Anthoniz. The Lamentation by Batista Franco. Alright, so we're moving on to another drawing right now. A small, intricately worked drawing is preparatory of one of the 9 engravings in Franco's life and his Passion of the Christ series. The lines of composition have been incised with the stylus, transferred design to the printing. I just want to look at this. I don't necessarily... Wow. What an intricate artwork. This is great. Yeah, let's work on this one. Let's just see if we can sketch the entire composition here as a study. So I'm going to do a small one, of course. This is very big. It's very long and intricate. So I'm going to use my screen like right here. And we're just going to use this page right here. And let's start with the center piece here. So this was the leg, and we're going to do another study next to it. Another project, and this is just a preliminary sketch, I think. So let me think. I'm trying to organize this. We got half, let's just say half of this. All right, so halfway on this drawing, try to understand a little bit about composition here. So a little bit down from center. So let's say half center. We're going to start right about here for our first figure. And let's go, let's draw some hair here. And let's go. I think it's interesting how curly people's hairs was back in, I guess, like the Renaissance. I guess this is from the Italian Renaissance. I mean, I guess was there another Renaissance? I guess it was the Renaissance was itself Italian, but I think it's interesting how curly people's hair was back then. Because, and maybe I just lack cultural understanding or cultural knowledge. But I never, if you were to ask me what an Italian person's hair is like, I would not have guessed very curly. That would not be my first thought. But I guess back then, every statue you look of, every famous Italian painting, almost every person that was painted in Italy had curled hair, which I find very interesting. So let's go like this. We're gonna go down here, and we're gonna go down on the other side here. Down like so. Let's draw this other figure. This is such an intricate photo here, or sketch. And let's go finish the hair here. Let's give it some curls right there. Give it a curl right there. And a couple curls right here. Sketch and sketch and sketch. And here we go, just sketching and seeking the lines that you see, the ideas, the lines, the work. You know what's exciting for me when looking at other artworks, or even what I'm doing right now, studies and drawings, copies, whatever you call them. It's just knowing that like these are lines that were drawn thousands of years ago, or what am I saying, thousands, hundreds of years ago. Humans probably only have recognized art probably I guess there's tens of thousands of years of art, worth of art. Egyptians, cave paintings, things like that. So the closer the mouth is to the nose, the smaller the chin is, the more tilted a head is. And here we go, just continuing to find lines to draw down along this face. I just find it interesting how pencil, why did lines drawn in the Renaissance all have this like this quality to them? Maybe it was the materials used, you know what I mean? Like, the use of certain materials creates this form, this shape. And then let's finish this figure here. here we go. So this is gonna come right up about at the body here. It's gonna come below the chin, this part of the shirt. It's gonna go even further below the chin. So we're gonna go about one head length, a little bit smaller than a head length, but no below the chin. Let's shake this up. And then we're gonna get an arm coming out from under the chin here. And the arm is gonna end right around the edge of the face, about one head length down. So let's do one head length. And we're going to go down to the end of the face. Finding proportions, that's what I'm constantly doing when I draw or look at other things, is where's body parts ending, finding some reference. And this is really if you're like, you know, super freehand like I am. If you're very freehand. But if you can't do freehand or you don't like the idea of freehanding things, then, you know, probably would not be the style that you use. You know, you're probably gonna use some sort of device to really capture it or something. So this is a beautiful painting here, or a beautiful drawing, a beautiful sketch. And let's go. Okay. How did this person draw all these figures? They must have had so many models. Like, you know, think back in the day, what it took to find a model. Like before I got into art, I used to always think, oh, well, you know, these people can just, you know, draw these things out of their head. And yes, well, I'm sure a lot of artists were able to, you know, recreate things accurately. After drawing like hundreds or thousands of people and studies, you know, I think they were able to like reproduce things fairly accurately. I definitely think that what I learned as an artist is this idea that they would have models. They would actually, some artists would just go through these super intricate studies of people. They would have people standing around and give them costumes, because after all, they had the money. They were, you know, funded by governments, churches, and other organizations, and they had all of that funding. So yeah, there's a lot to consider when you look at art. So here we go. I'm gonna continue on, and let's go. Let's go up. I'm gonna go around here. Needs to be about the size of a head, so it's gonna be a nice round head here. I'm gonna go down, and that's gonna end right about the chin. So finding a good proportion mark to end around, and there we go. So creating this shape and this form here. And let's see, so it's one head, two heads, and then an entire arm length as we go around. So we're going to go around, and this is going to be an arm length. So finding proportions, I'm just talking through my through my drawing here as I so this drawing that I'm doing right now, or working on, studying The Lamentation by Battista Franco. And it's funny because they call this a small one, but you know, I think it's fairly large. So Battista Franco is the name of our artist that I'm copying here. Battista Franco. So let's go ahead and continue. We're gonna darken the chin line here. And here we go. So the more you draw, the more stuff you draw, the less every individual detail gets totally noticed. So I learned this trick from an artist on Instagram. He said people often ask him how he does so much detail, and they said that the trick was actually that they do certain parts of it very, very, very detailed, and then the rest of it gets less detailed. So it gets less detailed as you go around. So basically, the detail that you put up front initially ends up making the entire painting look, or drawing look, much more detailed than it really is. So there's a trick to it, of course. I mean, there's always tricks. You know, I mean, nothing's going to beat just practice, but when we really think about how people interact with art, you know, the wow factor, of course, you know, the wow factor comes when you're looking at the art, and then you go deeper and deeper and you look at it and you're like, wow, this person was so detailed. It's amazing that somebody did that. But at the same time, for the majority of art viewers, which is not everybody who's going to look that detailed, the majority of art viewers, this idea of Gestalt, and Gestalt is a German word, which I believe means something like parts of a whole, or seeing the whole in parts, or something like that. And it's worth knowing as an artist. It's an idea that's worth taking note of, because it explains how people end up viewing art, in a sense that you know, it's never like, people rarely ever look at art as each individual piece. When you see an art piece that you like, you pretty much like look at it as a complete whole. And because of that, there's an element of not necessarily needing to draw out every detail for most artworks. All right, so we've got this piece. I'm going to draw an arm coming down from the nose into the body here. gonna come straight down from the chin. And here's a little quick sketch of what's going on right now. So obviously we got the leg right here. There's a random leg right here, and this is just a sketch, initial sketch of the lamentation. It almost makes me think of Romeo and Juliet. Surely someone designing for Romeo and Juliet got inspiration from this. Uh-huh. Romeo and Juliet got some inspiration here. And here we go. So like that, and then that, and then need to make this arm smaller, so that's what I'm doing here. Okay, let's draw the rest of this figure's body. And here we go. Let's see, drawing down this piece right here. Okay, let's go into this scarf or head. It's a scarf or a head. Something going over the head. I don't know if it's a wrap or just a blanket. Go ahead and color this. I like how the shadow follows the line of the towel. Maybe it's a towel. I think it's a towel here. And let's see, so we're gonna go like this. And lines need to be tight. What'd you say?
How's your ink?
Yep, still holding up this ink. Can you believe that? Over 40 hours. This ink lasts over 40 hours. It's crazy.
What's the brand?
This is SCHMIDT. This SCHMIDT 9000.
Wow. The sales rep for them.
Yeah. When Ashley finally runs out of ink, maybe I will be. Let's see. I mean, actually, the truth is probably no one cares how many hours it lasts. If anything, it's just a little, fun little thought project. Not necessarily something that people will be like, oh my gosh, over 40 hours of ink, wow. Alright, so here we go. We're gonna continue on with these lines and just keeping up with this line texture here. And here we go. Here we go. We're gonna bring some lines across the body now. And here we go. Let's do this. Getting around, people. So let's go like this, and we're gonna go bring the leg. We're gonna bring a little hip area is gonna come out like so. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're gonna bring this dress down pretty far. Can't really see what's going on, so let's just bring it down and then just. And it also looks like it'd be going in, so we don't know exactly what's going on there as far as this drawing goes, so we kind of have to make it up as we go. That's alright. So let's draw a couple lines to define that this is a dress. This is going to go. Where's this arm? So this arm is coming down right there. If that arm comes down, we're going to go here. So let's do. And the arm is going to go a little bit past the forehead and the wrist. Here we go. So talking my way through this part of the drawing here. You know what I think about old school artists is they always tend to like draw hands like hands are in pain or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're always kind of like these twisted like shapes. Hey, Whammy go crazy. Is my lives pulling up on the shorts feed lately? Uh, what makes you ask? Out of curiosity, that's a very interesting question. But I have, if you're asking, because you know, I can't really know the answer to that question because I don't really search my own lives on shorts. So maybe if there's another reason you're asking, I can help answer that. But for your question, I don't really know, honestly. Um, I'm sure they are because I've been discovered by you. Whammy go crazy. I've been discovered. Can be my agent. Just kidding. I already have one. But it's nice to say, yeah, it's somebody who discovered me. So here we go. Let's continue working on this piece as we go around and into these little corners here. So working on this drawing here, just getting the lines nice and tight. Drawing a lot of nice tight lines, and this actually needs to go a little lower here, these lines. we go. I'm live every day and you'll gain 100 plus views, but lately you have none. Huh. Are you an artist too? I mean, I guess it all depends on what you do, right? Like what what your channel's about, all that stuff. Like sometimes I get more views than others for sure. You know, some days I get a lot of views, some days I don't. Some days I have, 10 people in the room at the same time. Some days I only have, sometimes I have none, and sometimes I have 5, So it all depends. You. All right, cool. Okay, so it's just you sitting on camera talking. Is that, do you play? Are you live streamer, like gaming live streamer? Do you? So I think it all depends, right? Like YouTube. I mean, I think that's great for TikTok. Like if you're just a TikTok, not just, but if you're a TikTok streamer, you could just sit on camera and like talk. Or if you're a Twitch streamer and you have, like you're a model or something on it, Twitch, that works pretty well, or a gamer. But I don't know if just being a talking streamer works very well on YouTube, because, or just hey, here's my face stream on YouTube works very well because YouTube's a search engine, right? People go to YouTube to find answers to things, or they want to know something. They rarely ever go onto YouTube and be like, hey, let me talk to a random person. You know what I mean? That's not a common thing, I don't think. So, they'll go here and be like, hey, I want to find a gamer, or I want to know what this podcaster thinks about becoming a vegan, or I want to know how this person feels about I don't know, Joe Biden. Like, they go on here to find out things rather than on TikTok. It's just like, hey, I'm live. Come check this out. You might hear something funny. So anyway, let's see. This wrist needs to come down right around there. And once I got this wrist, I can just draw this thumb. They don't even show the thumb. So that's what I'm getting wrong here. So let's bring this leg out a little further. Start defining the shape of our legs here. Oh no, that's too far. So this needs to come in before. Go down. So right around there, about the length, a little bit over the length of the hand here. So, hey, you're a beginner currently. For start, draw a bunch of circles and lines and parallel and stuff. Do you think it's a good start? Hey, good question, Zach. So you just started. I mean, I'm guessing you probably heard that exercise from somebody. Yeah, I mean, I think anything that gets you going is a good start. But I also, depending on the exercise that you have, like I know there's this website, and I do recommend it, although I don't like what they do. I recommend it for most beginners because, at the end of the day, you got to build the confidence, right? But there's this website called Drawbox. And, there's other artists. I know Peter Hahn. He's a great teacher in drawing. And he talks about drawing circles and lines and things like that. So, I definitely think it's a good exercise, especially for shading and stuff. But I don't think the beginner work starts there. I think the beginner work starts after that, right? Like that's not even beginner stuff of drawing. That's just like warming up, getting your hands ready for the day. Just like the basic of basic. It's like, if you play football, if you're a beginner in football, you don't really, the beginning stuff, you're not really a beginner until you actually start playing a game with people, right? But if you're just kind of like running and jogging and like increasing your speed or you know, whatever your position is, right? Learning the basic tackles, that's like you're not really even a beginner yet. You're just kind of learning the basics. I guess that's what beginners do, but I don't know if you get what I'm saying there, but like, you know, the beginning really starts after you've warmed up with the circles, warmed up with the lines, and you start diving in like, hey, I'm going to draw this head. I'm going to draw my table. I'm going to draw this random thought that's in my head. I'm going to go to a museum and just sketch out some of these paintings, or I think that's when the beginner work starts. And some of that sounds kind of complicated, right? Like, how do you draw a car if you don't know how to draw a car and you don't have confidence in your art skills? Or how do you have confidence drawing a person if you don't have confidence in your art skills? But I don't believe that the confidence comes from just drawing circles and lines. Circles and lines are just, you know, you can draw circles and lines. So I hope that's helpful, right? So rather than you know, drawing circles and lines and calling yourself a beginner, really take it to the next level. And can I walk you through it story? What do you mean? Like, can I share a story? Yeah, you know, it was funny. I was talking to my girlfriend the other day, and she was like asking, or we were talking, and I was telling her that she should tell more stories. Oh, my story, huh? Yeah. So my story is basically that, you know, I did start doing stuff like Drawbox or drawing lines and circles, but you know, you advance really quickly. So I actually took Peter Hahn's class, and he starts off, hey, draw these lines, draw these circles. But you don't do that for more than a week, because his class goes week by week. I think it's 8-week program. And you know, first week literally just drawing lines, circles, different exercises that he would do, texture. But don't sit there for too long. You know, you like, that's not what you're looking to do in life, is draw circles and lines, unless that's like what you turn into, you know, turn into your thing. Like, you become a painter, a fine artist, and you just get famous for just sketching straight lines and circles. But that aside, unless that's what you're trying to do, I think the best thing is to not wait too long. So even Peter Hahn's class, right, less than a week. By the second week, you know, you've already moved on to some advanced, you know, you're moving into like shapes, molding into other shapes and forms, and like, you know, blocks and really complex objects. I think that's where the beginner work starts. But you know, it's a nice little warm up. Like, you don't say that you're playing football if all you're doing is running to become conditioned for football. You want to learn to draw out things that you have in your hand into some kind of art. That's cool. So what's stopping you right now? So you have your hand, and you're probably going to have an object. Of course, you can learn how to better draw. That's helpful. So what books have you looked at? Are you looking for YouTube tutorials? What are you looking to draw? You'd have to name a specific object. So you want to learn to draw. Oh, you said your mind. My bad. You said your mind. I thought that was hand. The word hand for some reason. Skills. Okay. So no books. Have you looked? I'm sure you looked at YouTube tutorials. That's why you're here, right? That's why you're here. So there was this. I had somebody on my channel a little while ago, and they wanted me to ask them, or they wanted me to. They said they drew a hand, and it was a young person. They asked me to like review their hand and tell them, you know, what I should do with it. And I said, Now go don't I'm happy to review some of your work since you're asking, but before I do, go back and draw 20 hands, and then I'll review your hands. Because what I find, and this might be not what a teacher would say, because a teacher would probably just do it. Um, I might not make the best teacher, but or like the best teller, telling people how to do things. I'm not the best at telling people how to do things. But my idea there is that when you draw 20 hands and you come back to it, if you spend the time, you're going to know with each and every hand that you draw what you did wrong on the last hand. And you're going to think, like in my mind, how do I draw this third hand better, the fourth hand better, the fifth hand better? And then you're probably going to watch a tutorial on how to draw your sixth hand, seventh hand. And then you're just going to know, like, it just starts to click for you. And then there's other things you can learn, right? So there's this great book. This is where I learned to do a lot of drawing. Is Andrew Loomis. He's probably one of the most well known. Even though it's again every artist has their own style, so he has a certain style of doing things. But there's certain tricks that you can learn when drawing a hand. So just using the hand as an example because it's a complex object, but you take a hand, right? And this is what I learned from the book. You don't really learn this if you're just observing the hand, unfortunately, unless you really are good at asking yourself questions about how it functions. But if you draw a hand, you might think it looks weird because the fingers, you might draw them all straight, right? Like it almost, if you were to draw my hand right now, you might think, oh, all the fingers are all straight down or something. Just an example. But what I learned from the book, just another example, is that when the hands curve in, they go in towards the palm, right? That's just a neat little trick you can learn. So if you can either learn that from a book or a tutorial, or you can actually study the hand in depth and then try to understand how it works, that can be very helpful. So what you'll find is that all hands, when they're curved, they actually go towards the center. So basically all the fingers are pretty much pointing towards the center. That's an easy trick to know whether you're drawing hands right or not. If they look weird, if you draw hands and this finger is like this way, like pointing down straight, and this finger is this, and this finger is kind of outward, then you're drawing the hand wrong, just by knowing that one little fact. So that's just an example, but there's so many more. Come up with your own. But you can really make things faster simply by either drawing them out yourself or just reading a book. I have a lot of books, big, probably spent like a couple $1,000 on art books in the past few years. Just study materials, online courses, like. Now, I know not everyone has those resources, but fortunately, there's a lot of resources that are accessible, very accessible to almost everybody. A lot of resources. Libraries. When I first moved to Los Angeles, I would spend I would spend a lot of time in libraries. That was until my car got stolen from a library in Los Angeles. Can you believe that? Somebody stealing a car in Los Angeles. How ridiculous is that? You go to a library because you think there are no thieves in libraries. Like, why would a thief hang out in a library? I don't know, but they were, and they stole my car. So my car got stolen from a library, and I was never the same ever again. I'll show this in one moment. I just want to finish this section here that I'm working on. So I'm actually doing a copy drawing right now of a work. So right now I'm doing this This is a copy of a drawing by, let's see what the artist's name is. The Lamentation by Battista Franco. So I think this is probably a famous drawing or famous painting. The Lamentation by Battista Franco. Let's see. Pen and brown ink. Yeah, anyway, I'm sure there's a painting called The Lamentation somewhere. This is a religious painting. I don't actually know the story about it, but it just looks... Where you live, people get robbed of their laptops. That's horrible. I mean, Los Angeles, it's a lot of people got, people break into cars in San Francisco. So it's like break into cars, steal laptops, steal bicycles, steal all sorts of stuff. So, getting your car stolen, it's not that's like people, all sorts of stuff gets stolen. Happens all over the world, no matter where you live, unfortunately. I mean, I guess if you live in a really nice small town where there's a, strong police presence, strong police force, and your government's not corrupt, and there's good people in your area, and you keep an eye for your neighbors, and people are all good friends, then I'm sure those people don't have to worry too much about these crimes. But for everybody else, you gotta watch out. So I only chose the government insurance. They pay for the robbery. Oh yes, so I did have insurance at the time that covered. But here's the thing: is my car at the time, it was leased. So I don't know if you know what leasing is, but my car was a leased car, which means I didn't own my car. I was only making payments to basically lease the car, and because of that, I didn't see any of the money. I saw a little bit of the money, but pretty much didn't see a lot of it, because the car technically belonged to the company. The company that I was leasing it from. So, yeah, that's that. I didn't get to see much from it, unfortunately. That's okay. Whatever. Honestly, I don't remember how much the car was worth. At the time. It's a Toyota Camry. So whatever a 20, I'm guessing, what was it, like 2015 Toyota Camry? 2020, no, maybe 2015 Toyota Camry. Yeah, so this was a few years ago, so it's been a long time since. I had to get a new car. You can't live in Los Angeles without a car. I mean, you can. Let me take that back. You can definitely live in Los Angeles without a car, but it is not going to be easy for you. Your life will be very difficult without a car in Los Angeles. So yeah. Good to see you here. So, tell me about your drawing practice. Let's get back to your uh your drawing. LA is definitely a great place to be an artist, but um as far as being an artist in LA goes, there's a lot to offer. Good times. I would definitely recommend it. However, I will also say that the best reason, one of the main reasons I think that anyone should want to live in LA. I mean, obviously there's tons of great weather. That's a huge, but it's not necessarily to become an artist itself as much as it is because you can still live in Southern California, get the great weather. San Diego, you can live in Santa Barbara, you can live in, all these different cities. Oceanside, you can live in Orange County, Laguna Beach. You can live in all these great cities as an artist. And I would say LA would not be the top city just to live as an artist. But you would want to live in LA to get a start in film and TV. That's for sure. That is for sure. But and then just be an artist as like an extra thing that you do. So yeah, my main source of success comes from working in film and TV, not so much just my artwork. And I did some horrible sizing for this. So the size that I drew here is totally off. But yeah, living in LA as an artist is great, but I think living in any city that's pretty cool, like New York, Santa Barbara, is also great, right? I don't think being an artist necessarily in LA is necessarily that much different than living as an artist. I mean, I guess there's more people around, more creative people, so more people get it. I guess that's a thing, right? Or maybe like I'm just like losing touch with other cities because I think in Los Angeles, like being an artist is just a given. Like everybody, 30% of people living in Los Angeles are artists in some way. And maybe I'm taking that for granted because I don't know what other cities are like anymore. But there's got to be some other huge artist cities. I heard Santa Fe's big. And they're all over the world. Come to think of it. But, I guess for people that are not living in a major city, like a smaller town, who might be wondering, oh, what's it like on the other side for an artist? That might be significant. But I know there's a lot of small towns with like booming arts communities nowadays that it's not really that much different for arts. But I don't know. Anyway. Great. Yeah, so like I'll just go yeah, I'll just go on and on if people ask me questions because that's what I do. Is just talk on and on because that's what social media and YouTube like. They don't like quiet and silences. Otherwise, you get reported for being a loop or something. But let's see. Thank you for sharing your story. Spend most of your time in a 9 to 5. Yeah, hey, I totally get it. I've been there, and I am still there from time to time. Been through mental health issues. Yeah, so thank you for being open enough to share your story with us. Art is a good thing to connect yourself. Yeah, art for me is definitely like an exploration of consciousness. That makes sense. Like when I'm doing art, of course the art itself is great, but what's also great is that um, for me at least, art has been a way to check my personal fears and doubts. And not like, you know, I'm horrified of spiders type of fear, but to really consider why I do things to stop myself. Like, uh, no, I can't possibly paint abstract, or I can't, do drawings and try to like copy Picasso's drawings or something like that. And I think about why, and usually it's like just a doubt, a doubt of myself or a doubt of what other people will think. And I think it's a good exploration of this idea of like, what are your fears preventing you from creativity, preventing you from your creative efforts? That's where it's been a great exploration for me. So since you brought that up, yes, I definitely totally agree with that statement there. Exploration of self, exploration of consciousness, whatever you want to call it. I definitely agree. Exploration of my own fears, my thoughts, my doubts. Lack of time make you never finish what you start and end up giving up on things. Yeah, I mean, it can be really hard to prioritize things. Um, you really have to design a life. But here's the question, right? So you said lack of time. So, do you really feel like being truthful to yourself, right? Like knowing yourself, if you actually had more time, not more time in your day. We all have 24 hours in a day, but if you were able to carve out more time for the work that you want to finish, would you actually finish it? Because I can admit, I mean, I know myself, like, there's this thing that I like to used to say, right, when I first moved to Los Angeles, like, if I could just have 8 hours a day to make to make YouTube videos, I would be a super successful YouTuber. And between different jobs that I've had and gig work and working in film and TV, I find myself with a lot of days when I have an extra 8 hours a day, like weekends especially. And those weekends, I don't make videos for 8 hours a day. So, in that sense, if you're really honest with yourself, even with extra time, and this is me, challenging you to challenge yourself. If you're really honest with yourself, with the extra time that you do have, are you really putting in that best foot forward? And only you can really answer that. So. So you learn programming, but a little bit of art just too. Yeah, that's awesome. So your goal is to become a programmer, not necessarily an artist. That's great. It's good to know yourself and what you want out of your life. That's a very powerful thing. When you know yourself, you can do so much more. So yeah, so you're looking to do programming. Like, what are you looking to code? Is that because you heard of the opportunities for coders and stuff like that? I mean, you can make a lot of money. Coders definitely make a lot of money, and there's always jobs for coders. Always, like, there's always high paying good jobs for coders, for people that can code. Person who can manage the time can manage their life. They can manage many lives. This, we're going to give this person a hood. So here we go as we make progress on this baby. It's a beautiful, beautiful artwork. And I find it amazing that I can, go on here, go onto this website, the Getty website, and just be able to pull it up. And, they already did the work of saying that, hey, this is work that you can actually use for studies or for actually even like copying, which I think is pretty cool. So Zach, what are you up to today, my friend? You're about to finish drawing. You're drawing me drawing a picture. Hey, all right, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, let's we should all draw each other. So let's go up like this. Give about a head length here. So interesting to see how people's clothes were back then, because they didn't have photos, so you can only see it through drawings and stuff. But even at the same time, even though you can only see it through drawings, you have to wonder, right? Like the clothes that are actually drawn, whether it was like only clothes that were worn by the super wealthy, or were these are the actual things that people wore when you see these drawings. And here, so this guy's arm also comes up a little bit right here. Let's draw a shoulder from the neck. Oof. These are hard and difficult things to study. Also because I'm trying to like copy the lines, the line work, which makes it a little bit more difficult. Whereas if you're doing your own study, you kind of like figure out your own way of doing things. But let's do this ear. We're gonna go round on the head to the front here. So where are you watching from, Zach? I feel like I should do that more often. Like radio show hosts, they'll be like, "Oh, so what's your name and where are you calling from?" Ah, nice. Zach from Connecticut. Zach from France. Zach from Ethiopia, London, wherever. I need to start doing that. Where are you calling from? Zach from the UK. Lamentation. Oh, really? You are Zach. You are from Ethiopia. Cool. Well, that's just a totally random guess. I had no idea that was going to be right, but funny. What a coincidence, huh? I was thinking that was going to be like the last country. That was. I just guessed Ethiopia because I was like, oh well, what's like this a super unrecognized country that there's probably no chance they're viewing my channel from, but I guess I'm totally wrong. But you know what? I did an LA marathon, and the winners, I think, were from Ethiopia. The winners of the marathon runners, very fast. I think they did a marathon 2 hours and like 5 minutes. Amazing. I think Ethiopia is going to be an up and coming athletic country. Country with athletes. I mean, it's been an athletic country for running, but yeah, I don't know too much more about Ethiopia, honestly. There's a place in Los Angeles called Little Ethiopia. I haven't eaten there yet. But very cool, my friend. Good to see somebody from Ethiopia. Rookie, some good. Yeah. No, I'm not a vegan, but I will definitely take some food recommendations, like dishes. If you have like names of dishes, yeah, I would definitely give me a reason to go visit an Ethiopian restaurant. I think foods that I don't recognize, it could be like, because I'm so used to just going to a restaurant knowing exactly what to get, like Mexican food, Chinese food, um, Japanese food. I can go into a restaurant just know like exactly what I want. But with like Ethiopian food, it's rarely. I definitely have no clue what I'm getting, so it could be kind of hard. So let's see, you're vegan, so you recommend try SCHMIDT. SCHMIDT. I know. Oh no, never mind. I'm thinking of fufu, but I don't know if Ethiopians have fufu. I know Nigerians do fufu, but I don't think in fufu. So SCHMIDT. You're gonna have to explain how that's pronounced because I just don't want to go in there and be like, oh, I want to buy some stuff fit. Sufifi, Sufit. That's quite. There's like quite a lot of surprisingly, a lot of Nigerian restaurants in Los Angeles, but not so much. I mean, they got Little Ethiopia, but that's about it. They don't have like too much more than that as far as Ethiopian food. But I'm guessing, there's a large Ethiopian community out here that I've never really had the opportunity to meet. Interestingly enough. Alright, so this needs to have a hand. Alright, and there we go. So we've got the main shape of this body here. So now I just got to figure out how to tighten it up. So this is going to be like that. SCHMIDT. So you can make the waiters laugh by pointing out that you are not ordering the soup, which is the same word for suit. Not ordering the soup. I'm ordering the soufet. Soufet. Cool. So the I sounds like a T, basically, is what you're telling me. Or the I sounds like an E. So I just learned that Rwanda is actually pronounced Gawanda. In the Rwandan language, Rwanda is actually pronounced Gawanda. That was very interesting to me. Someone from, so we all pronounce it Rwanda, but in America, but it's Gawanda. I just learned that. That's cool. Make waiters laugh. Yeah. All right. Well, now I feel like I have to make a trip out to eat lunch at an Ethiopian restaurant sometime this month. Soufet. And let's do this. So we've got a couple lines here. We're gonna go down like that. And a couple straight lines coming down here. All right. So how's your drawing coming along, my friend? How you gonna share it? Do you have it? Do you have an Instagram? Are there many Asian people in Ethiopia? Do they have like pockets of Ethiopian Asians or Asian Ethiopians? And I think I'm gonna shade this area just a bit more. Just to give it some more color contrast. No, not much Asian Ethiopian, but there are a few Asians who marry and live out there. Hey, that's cool. So how would you describe life in Ethiopia? Like, do you watch? I mean, out of like, do you watch American? Do you get to watch a lot of American movies? I don't know if you have like Netflix out there, or whether the government's very controlling of the what you actually get to watch. Like Los Angeles, you know, there you have to drive everywhere. You know, just so I can describe Los Angeles, you have to drive everywhere, but there's a lot of different communities, right? Like as I mentioned, there's a little Ethiopia where there's a big Ethiopian community. There's little Chinatown, which has a big Chinese community, and it's kind of like made like a little Chinese town. Little Tokyo has like a little Japanese community. So there's all these major pockets of areas in Los Angeles, and you know Ethiopia is a big country. You know, I'm comparing Los Angeles to Ethiopia, but within your city or your favorite city in Ethiopia, what would you say uh, is noticeable? How do you describe your town in Ethiopia? Cat, uh, fight the leftovers, huh? What do you want to do about the leftovers? Oh, nice. Showmax. Wow. So you don't have an international payment system. That blows my mind. So how do you, I guess I don't even know how that would work if you don't have that. Honestly, like, uh, yeah. Is that, yeah, I mean, I guess it's probably a government thing too, right? Because surely the government really wanted, they would find a way to create a payment system for international payments, like a bank or something. It's got to be like a Bank of Ethiopia, or something like that.
Are you gonna take a break for lunch?
Yeah, I can take a break for lunch in a
That's
minute.
very nice. Well, yeah, because we need the tables.
You like it because it looks like a classical Renaissance drawing. Huh?
That's what you're trying.
What I'm copying. All right, well, we're gonna have to take a break here in a few moments, Zach. But hey, at least you can be on YouTube, right? Like you can be on YouTube, hanging out, doing stuff. Talking to random people. So like, even though you can't watch movies, you can you can connect with people all around the world, which I think is probably more interesting than a lot of movies. Sometimes.
Movies on YouTube.
Huh?
There's movies on YouTube.
Yeah, but then you need to get the expensive premium version of YouTube.
Not necessarily. Not always.
But there's also a lot of YouTube movies are also bootlegs, so I wouldn't necessarily promote that. But YouTube does have a premium version where you can watch films and stuff, but I think I don't know. Actually, I don't know what I'm talking about. Who is this? Hey, we're live. See, it disconnected me as soon as I started talking about YouTube and YouTube those activities. So anyway, we're gonna take a break here soon, Zach. But it's totally great to have you on this live stream and to be able to hear about SCHMIDT and have a new food item to consider. I don't even know what it is, but I'll probably order that as like some sort of appetizer or something. I would be willing to try it out. And I'm gonna add some lines that are not actually here, as in the drawing.
In 1985, you sang on charity single "We Are the World." I want to take a look real quick.
Michael was the star of that. Good to see you. Yeah, feel free to so I can't actually see these chats after this is gone. But if you want to, feel free to leave a comment. I could connect on Instagram or whatever. Definitely connect on Instagram. Greatest names in pop, huh? That's cool.
Very cool font. Okay, should I start heating up the food? Or are you still drawing?
Still drawing, but you can heat it up. I'll be done in a sec. I'll be done when we're done.
Get the bagels together.
Like, hey, thanks, Sharmila. Okay, and we are back, and we're gonna have a little bit more of this drawing here, but not too much longer. We're almost done as we start to wrap up these final areas here. Thank you for comment, Sharmila. I don't know if you're still here, but you know, just working through these last sections. And you're finding a knee space here. And there we go. So people, I mean, I feel like people back in the day love to draw fabrics. Like, I do not get enjoyment out of drawing fabrics, but for whatever reason, people in ancient Italy loved to draw fabrics. Maybe it was some sort of creative talent flex, a brag or something, but I just never got why some people love, why there's so much fabric in art from the Renaissance. And here we go. We're continuing on. Almost here. I gotta give this some angle here. So I messed up here by drawing in some extra details, drawing in too much lines, but and here we go. So again, this leg coming down, and you know what? We're gonna move on and take a break here in a moment. So those of you just tuning in, suddenly I'm getting a lot of viewers, but those of you just tuning in, thank you. But it's just a quick drawing, not quick. It's been about 2 hours, but those are some of the drawings. So what I did was I went to the Getty website, so Getty.edu. Then they released 86,000 images of like really culturally significant artworks, and they made them available to the public. What I'm doing is I'm just studying them, copying them, forging them. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. Well, I guess it doesn't matter whether I'm copying them or not, as long as I'm not trying to sell them as an original artwork, because they are commercially available too. They're Creative Commons 4.0 license, which means you can use them commercially. So I could hypothetically sell this, but I wouldn't necessarily call it the originals or whatever. So this is a really interesting drawing. So Getty.edu, the website is Getty.edu, and you go up to the images or the artwork, and you click images, and you got to click open content. I just released a short about it that shows you the exact steps. But 86,000 pieces, culturally significant works, and you know what? You can print them out, put them on shirts, mugs, whatever, and you know they're in the public domain. So that's pretty cool. And this is one of the pieces that it's on there. It's called The Lamentation, and we still have quite some work to do. But you know, with this, this isn't my own drawing. I'm basically looking at pretty much copying it off of the image that I'm seeing. So just building on top of this. But it is pretty nice. It's very dramatic. I love seeing how dramatic the figures are, and how, you know, different heads are turned in different ways and everything. So with that, we're gonna call this a wrap. But Zach, thanks again. We'll chat later. Hope to see you again, and we'll wrap this up right now. Thank you everybody for being here.